Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to kind of share my views on what's going on with AI, and especially when it comes to enterprise AI, which is I think an animal that most people don't really know how to tame yet, which is a good time for us to be in this kind of a talk. But one of the things that I specialize is on SMBs. We do work with enterprise companies, but we also have a heavy focus on SMBs, and it's a pretty interesting dynamic because they have very different approaches to how this is going to be done, and it almost comes to reinventing a business, to being able to take on this kind of a task because this is huge. As we all know, AI is here to help us. It's also, for a lot of people, here to unfortunately replace some people in certain situations. So it's, I think, more crucial now than ever to get involved in AI, especially for companies. Being AI leaders is going to be the new superpower in a business, especially in enterprise, because enterprise has a lot of people and they need a lot of guidance. Um, and for most people, this is going to be almost reinventing how they do business from day one. It's very different. So I'll kind of give you guys a snapshot of where I come from, and you can see in the slide. I was working with DeepMind back in 2017, late 2017, working on some of the vision products. And at that time, I actually had the pleasure of sitting in one of the events, and it was a Google event, and there was about 3,000 people in the room. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I was very excited about the event. I sat front row. Could not wait to hear what they were going to announce, because they said they're going to have something really big for the developers to see that was going to be the biggest game changer that development in general has ever seen. So the event went through. Towards the very end, they went ahead and announced and displayed on stage natural language coding. And that was huge. That's where I realized, oh my gosh, this is going to be big. This is going to be so big. It's going to be so exciting. And meanwhile, I looked around the room, and a lot of the other people were developers, and they didn't share the same excitement. I think a lot of people saw some fear. They thought that some of them looked like they were turning white, with just like they wanted to be sick. But in my mind, I saw this as an opportunity for coders to be able to use this technology and just ramp it up at lightning speeds. And that's what we're getting to see today. So that was where I kind of got started, and I've been involved in it since. Founder of Lingos, like Prem said, Lingos, SpinFlow, Titan Wave. We at Lingos had been in business for about 13 years. We started getting into AI again late 2017. Really didn't put a lot of focus into it until about 2020, and that's when I think the whole world started to shift, because we saw GPTs, not the ones that were publicly available, but we did start to see the GPTs start to emerge from the industry, and I think that got a lot of people very excited. Again, went through the same situation that I saw 9 years ago on stage for the natural language coding. Everybody is starting to freak out and get excited at the same time. So it's kind of reliving what I saw many years ago. But one of the things that you see right here, built 3 AI companies from scratch. We are working on a third one that's not announced yet. I don't want to make that assumption that we built Lingos, because Lingos came out 13 years ago. There was not. If I tried to have AI help us back then, we wouldn't be here today. Let's put it that way. It's really bad back then. But I did actually build these companies tremendously with using AI. Lingos has went from, I wouldn't say zero, but maybe like 10% automation to injecting AI in every place that we could in the business. And we have tenfold gone, almost 50% of our entire business now is automated through AI. And I'm not saying that because I want everybody just to use AI, and I think it's a good idea. We just don't use people. I have people still. My people that are working inside of my companies are doing different things. When we see a situation where AI can take over and start to accomplish that task, we take that employee and we pivot and we move them to a different area. And we've found a lot of success in doing this because a lot of people and companies want to pivot. They want to have something new and exciting. They want to have help, and that's exactly what they get with these systems. So, and you can see on the last bit of this slide, I don't think it's really any secret. I think that all of us in this room right now are probably wanting to wait and see what happens before they make a move because it feels like the right thing to do. That's what we've been doing our whole lives in business. This is not the time to do that. This is so different. What I say is fail hard, fail fast with AI. The good thing is failures aren't the same failures. When you fail with AI can bring you back out of that failure and bring you back up to the top. So waiting is going to completely, it's going to crush your chances on competing against the other companies out there that are starting to jump into it now. Okay, so the enterprise AI paradox. It is 100% survival right now. It's not, hey, who's going to get the latest and greatest AI tool? It is, if you don't do this now, you won't exist in the future, because the people who are doing it and the enterprise companies who are actually adopting this are never going to have to look back. Their businesses will never be the same again, and anybody who starts behind them will continue to remain behind them. That's the situation that we're in today. Is the quicker you move, the quicker you fail, the quicker you're going to succeed. I know it sounds weird, but it's, again, a different place than we've ever been before. We need to move fast. We need to move hard. We need to not be afraid. Knowing that again, if AI can bring you to a point of feeling like you're breaking, it can also bring you to a point of feeling like you're unbroken. We lean really hard on AI systems. My employees in general know they don't do anything outside of AI. Even the most simple tasks, I make it very clear to them that if you do this without using AI, you're not doing your job. And it's not because they can't do it without using AI. It's because I want them to get so used to using it that becomes their main tool of operation for everything that they do. Because as we proceed and we start to see these new systems come online, especially agentics, we need to lean real hard on these systems. This is what's going to allow enterprise companies to succeed over and above their competitors. Like, whoever leans in the hardest and the most is going to definitely be the winner. And the enterprise trinity. This is one thing that I tell everybody. Like, it's okay to feel like you can't sleep. It's okay to be excited. It's okay to be super stressed out. That's what everybody is feeling in this, because there is no real playbook right now, because the playbook changes every day. So there is no way to say, okay, we're going to do this, and in 6 months, we're going to have this put in place. We're in a place now, within 2 weeks after you make that 6-month plan, you're going to have to reassess your plan because it's changed again. So expecting that during this time and this transition, you're going to be stressed, you're going to be excited, you're going to be burned out. It's part of the process. I'm here to tell you, since we got fully into nothing but AI 2 years ago, I went from getting a normal 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night to about 4 or 5 hours, and I'm tired, but I'm excited, and I'm stressed, and I'm like every feeling you can imagine. But it is a great place to be, because even being tired, I can get these systems to actually take hold much faster, because I'm not the one that's doing it. So it actually makes even those challenges not so challenging. Changing forever. It's important that we tell companies, especially enterprises, you're never going to be the same again. Almost everything in your operation is going to be different. You're going to have a lot of people in one position that will move to a different position. You're going to have some people that will fall off, some people will move ahead. The most important thing that we tell our enterprise companies that we do consulting for, it's important that you get your team on board. And we've got some ideas on how you can do that. We've got some suggestions on how to support your staff, because when you're trying to make these transitions and your staff knows that they're going to be putting AI that could possibly replace them, you're going to have some people that will revolt, and you'll have some people crossing their arms and walking the other way and saying, do it yourself then. So it's important that you give them avenues and ways that they can actually step over that and not have to be consumed by that and let go. Wrong first step. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make the first step, because the first step means that you might actually get that position faster. And that's what this is all about. It's not if you make the wrong step first that you're going to completely fail. I just said AI can bring you back out of that failure as quick as it brought you into it. If it did, which would be unusual if it brought you into failure, but if it did, you got the tool that brings it back out. But in this case, Most important, get started now, because if you do actually get yourself in the right spot, you do step into that ladder, and the likelihood of somebody going over you on that ladder is slim to none. So where you place yourself now is probably pretty likely where you're going to stay for a long time. Now, if you go 110% into AI, you might beat the guys who are going 50%, but you still have a bit of a task. Game changed. We have democratized AI. We know that 2 years ago, really, really good AI was really, really expensive. It was really hard to apply. It was really hard to install. It was even harder to adopt because there was too many moving parts. It just didn't seem to fit right. Nobody was able to make it work. So enterprise had to put forth gigantic bills to pay to get this all put in place, and it takes 6 months to a year. And this is where it gets very challenging for enterprise businesses, is that you've got your small and medium-sized companies that don't have these problems. They don't have these issues that the enterprise people do. They don't have the people. They don't have all the moving parts. They can move at the speed of light. So now there's a new challenge where the little guys that nobody thought could ever catch up might actually catch up, and not just catch up, but beat the big guys if they're not taking the right steps. So the game has changed. Enterprise grade AI now costs 90% less. That makes it affordable for small and medium-sized business. 10 versus 10,000. That's a little extreme. I would say probably 10 versus 1,000. Unless you got 10 really, really, really bad people, then maybe 10,000. Or sorry, yeah, 10 really good people. Sorry, wrong. But the small teams are beating. Like that's the thing, is like when you don't have all these parts that you have to like configure and move and twist and turn, you're running at the speed of light. And even if the wheels are falling off, you're still running at the speed of light. And these guys are doing it. I watch it all day long. I see my small and medium-sized businesses making tons of mistakes, but they're moving so fast, those mistakes almost disappear in the background because they're on to the next big thing. Again, speed advantage, like just move fast. Don't move slow. Get your guys who are excited that want to use AI. There's other ideas on what you could do with their time to allocate to come up with some really great ideas by giving them free time, where they can go and use their AI agents and have like invention time during the day, where for 2 hours a day, they get to invent something new for the business using AI, and then they might apply it. So these things are really helpful for businesses. I've actually seen some really great things come out of that. Agentic revolution. This is what we keep hearing. 2025 is going to be the year of agents. We've heard Altman. We've heard, I think everybody, Nadella or Satya Nadella. All of them are saying that this is going to be the year of agents, which means these are the products that can replace people if they let them. And I think we've heard that it's becoming almost kind of a cliche thing that AI will only replace you if you let it. And it's true. Like we could say it a million times to a blue in the face. It's 100% true. If you're not using AI, you probably will be replaced. Just putting it out there now. There's no reason to butter this up anymore. It's really important that people take action and really go all in. Thinking, deciding, acting independently. For some people, that scares them. And for me, I get so excited I can't even stand like reading it slowly. I want to just jump through and celebrate. I needed more autonomous AI for sure. And the enterprise challenge, again, people. That is one of your biggest challenges right now. Challenges is that when you have hundreds or thousands of employees and you're bringing in AI, what does that mean for your company? What does that mean for the structuring? How long will it take? How many people will be pissed off? How many people will be out there with picket signs in front of the building saying, boycott this business because they fired all their employees, because they just assume that that's what's going to happen when AI comes in, that everybody's going to get eradicated. But that's where the approach has to come in and embrace it and get excited with them and say, these are things that we don't have to do anymore. These are things that we can do now. These are things that we could do over here. And hey, we're going to start growing, which means maybe our incomes can go up and we'll start shifting things. And everybody in this company is now going to be an AI orchestrator. You're going to have your AIs. You're going to orchestrate. You're going to learn how to work at this one and that one. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. A lot of companies get excited when you approach it that way. You just have to approach it not in this very drab, hey, we're bringing in AI guys, and don't worry, we're not going to replace you. No, we're going to bring AI in, and we're going to get excited, and it's going to be a lot of fun. again, you just have to come in with that excitement. Otherwise, the employees do get nervous. Human amplification. We really don't want to replace people. If we have to, there are some people who will be replaced. That doesn't hurt my feelings at all. If somebody wants nothing to do with AI, then fine, go do something else. You're not for me. That's where it stands for me. I think that most businesses should feel that same way. Like, if you want to go do something that doesn't require AI, good luck. Have a nice day. I wish you well. But yeah, it's really on the relationships and how you actually approach it and what you're telling your employees. The reality check, SMBs versus enterprise adoption. And this is where it really is like major sticker shock for some people. And sorry, the AI photos did a wonderful job, of course. But the reality is it's way harder for enterprise to adopt to AI, way harder. There's, again, too many moving parts to even count, but the moving parts that are most important are the people. You can see the reality of these SMBs. A lot of people, I don't know if you guys have noticed, a lot of these big CEOs and not CEOs, just C-levels, executive level people leaving companies and starting their own company because they're like, hey, I don't need to do this over here. I could start this and I can have 10 guys and have like 500 people worth of production. And you're seeing it left and right. These guys are seeing the opportunity of, hey, I don't want all these hard moving parts. I just want to jump into this. And I think that's pretty stupid, because their opportunity, if they do it right and they take a different mindset on how to approach it under the enterprise, they'll crush the small, medium-sized businesses. Not that I want that. I want everybody to play nicely. But in order for them to compete with each other, it's really important that enterprise takes that startup mentality. It's really important. Pretend like you're a startup. Reinvent the business from the ground up. Do not try to take anything with you that was from before, because most of it won't work. So it's really important to tell people, like, here it is, your success rate. Enterprise 30% versus SMB 70%. Less moving parts. Doesn't mean that they're not successful in doing it. It means it's a lot harder. So a lot more people, even 2 years ago, started applying AI, and some of them have not fully even adopted it because they can't figure out how to get it to connect and bolt in properly. So they're still trying to like trickle in a little here, a little there. So we take a different approach. We actually create an entire blueprint around the business. And I'm going to give you guys this. This is something that we have as one of our proprietary things that we have inside of our system in Titan Wave and SpinFlow. We actually interview the entire company, all employees, everybody, all staff, all executives, all managers. We get to know everything about the company first, and we start to feed this to the bigger AI companies. Like, again, you can use your own open source models. I don't suggest that. The reason I don't suggest that is that open source is always a level down from the closed source models. They are far more productive. They're way more powerful. They have newer technologies. Their outputs are just more genuine. So I always tell everybody, if you want to save money by doing open source, you're going to eat it in the end in the other area of not having as good a production as the guy who used closed source models. For companies, if you're a closed source model, if you're in a closed source model that's available to the public, a lot of people might not know this. Some people do. Your information, if you are on an enterprise account, is 100% private, supposedly. We don't know for sure. I think we're pretty confident that they don't get into our stuff because they say they won't. So it's important for bigger businesses not to be afraid to adopt these bigger closed source models that are publicly available. You're also going to have a lot of challenges on having an open source model where somebody has to manage it and get the best results possible. So you're going to pay for it in the end. But in my opinion, go with the biggest models, go with the most well-known models, the ones that produce the best, the ones that produce the most, and don't be afraid to pay for it, because it's going to pay for the ROI on, as you probably know, the ROI on AI is untouchable. Nothing else in the world can touch the ROI that AI can produce. So basically, you're mapping the whole company, mapping the workflows, mapping the decision points, putting all of this into a place where you can now feed it into a system and get your information. Feed it to AI, and AI is going to find. We have one called Titan that we developed ourselves. It is a closed source model, but it is very, very well trained. And it takes all of these interviews and it identifies the gaps in the company. It identifies the bottlenecks that are going on. It'll identify people that should not be working with other people. It identifies people who are completely disconnected from how the business even runs. it brings everything together into this one picture. And then you can basically take that blueprint that you brought in and re-blueprint into something where AI says, if we do this, it's going to work better. This is your first approach to enterprise. Instead of trying to figure all of this out yourself, use AI, orchestrate your agents, help them bring in the information and help you decide what are the next best steps, because your companies are going to be different from everybody else's. So there is no blueprint where you come in, it's like, this is how it should be set up under AI and this is the best way, period. Well, no, because every business we touch and consult with is super different. They all have very different ways of doing things. So our most important thing for us is to always be open to using AI to understand the environment and restructure the environment and bring it back to the people. And then obviously there's conversations, there's communication. You can't just say AI is going to tell us what to do and we just call it good. AI is going to give us a good direction. It's going to give us a good blueprint that we can start looking at. Then we can start to decide, we do want that, we don't want this, we do want that, back and forth until you get to your final landing spot and you say, okay, this is what we're going to do moving forward. Now we need to and use AI. And how do we start this? Who do we start with? How do we begin this? Don't be afraid to lean on it, because it is better at this than we are. There's no question. It's better at us than almost everything. My living proof, SpinFlow is about 85% AI operated now. So we really only have 3 people with SpinFlow now. Lingos, we had 48 employees last year. We're down to 7 employees and we're 40%. We're actually closer to 50% automation. And we actually are producing twice what we were doing before. And it's not because our people weren't good. Our people weren't using AI, and we basically got rid of the people who are resistant to AI, because I was like, if you don't want to do this, that's fine. Huge improvements. And it's not because we replaced people, it's because we got people that didn't want AI involved out of the way. And that's all it was. If my people were quick to adopt AI, I'm all about it. Like, you're going to be with me forever. I'm never going to stop paying you. That's kind of leading you into what I have come up with. So Titan Wave is a consulting company, but we also have built something called the Employee Protection Assurance Program. And this is something that I think could be a good value to you with your companies that you guys are dealing with, or your companies that you have, is creating a plan that's almost a replacement of a pension. Because if you're to train AI really well in your environment, the most important people in your entire environment in general are the people that are doing their jobs right now, that are going to really either poorly train their AI agents to do their job, or they're going to train them to be really good at their job. That's going to be the other caveat that says, are you going to succeed in this or are you going to fail? If you come in and you say, hey guys, we're just doing this, we have a job, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to start bringing AI in here, you're going to have a lot of people who won't want to work with it, and it's going to cause a problem. You're going to get a ripple effect. It's going to start affecting other things around it. Or you can approach it as saying, hey, you might be out of a job. We're going to train this AI, whether you like it or not. This is what we have to do to compete. What we'd like to do is offer you maybe a type of pension, which we call the Employee Protection Assurance Program, where we offer a certain amount of money for the employees to be paid forever if they train their AI agents and they stay under a 5-year contract to make sure that agent is performing at its absolute maximum. Then we'll pay you for the rest of your life, because companies can now afford this. That AI agents are not going to stop producing, which means you're going to have that job being paid nonstop forever. And you could start making these agreements with these employees and saying, hey, like, let's figure out a way. If you train this person, if you train this AI agent, I'll pay you forever. The smiles that come across people's faces and the enthusiasm that comes up and says, oh my God, like, yeah, I mean, it's a different approach. Instead of saying, hey, we're bringing in these AI agents and they won't replace you, but probably not. You're not. Everybody's going to revolt. They're going to do terrible training. They're going to make sure their AI agent sucks so that they get to keep their job. And that's the difference on how you approach it. So approach it in a very giving manner, letting them know, you give me this, I'll give you that. That's how this is going to work. That's how this is going to move forward for all enterprises. You're not going to get people playing nicely if you don't start out by offering something first. And what I've discovered on this journey, again, almost no sleep, tons of anxiety, tons of excitement. I can't even tell you the feelings that go through me every single day. Like, I feel like I I live in an ocean of emotion these days because I'm like, 1 minute I'm super excited, the next minute I'm really nervous that something else is coming out that's going to compete with us. And I go through this every single day. I wake up from my sleep nervous about what may have happened while I was sleeping. It's normal. So don't don't feel like you're going to go crazy. Try not to. It's part of it. Enterprise fears. Everything I'm seeing right now is the reason enterprises are scared is that they're scared of making the wrong move. They don't know if they're going to go with the right product. They don't want to go down this one and find out we just spent $1 million putting us in here, but there's a better one around the corner. That's the hesitation I'm seeing with enterprise a lot, is just not sure where to start and not sure where they want to plant themselves. Um, that's I have not seen that slow down at all. And then the SMBs, like, it's the exact opposite. They are scared that these other businesses are moving at, 1,000,000 miles a minute, and they are. So there's good reason to be afraid of this kind of stuff, because if they don't move quick, they won't be able to move. And I think that's probably the biggest takeaway from me is I say it over and over, like, move fast, move hard, and don't be afraid. Like, it's a do or die, and I'm not trying to be doomy and gloomy right now. Like, I know it sounds like that, but it's a point where I was being soft and easy with my approach on these things, but now I think the world needs that hard coded answer of, like, get in it or you're gonna lose. So that's it. That's I believe that was the last. Yeah, that was the last slide.